Hi, RD. This is Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. And thank you for doing the TOEFL pronunciation pretest. So, one of the most important lessons in my TOEFL speaking bootcamp course is to see what problems you're having right now with your delivery. And that's exactly what you did with your pretest. So, I'm going over to my website here. So, let's take a look at this, right? And then I'm going to figure out, based on the pretest, I can give you a pretty good idea of which specific vowel and consonant sounds you need to focus on the most. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. I'm going over to pronunciation right here. Okay, I got it. Okay, so based on what you just did, let me share with you some things that you want to work on. So, unfortunately, you have quite a few problems with your pronunciation. Now, the good thing is you're actually living in the United States right now, so you're getting a lot of input. But sometimes people who live in the United States, it doesn't always mean they're speaking English. So that's your first step. Change your computer into English, change your phone into English settings. Make sure that you're communicating and speaking English every day with native speakers. That's important. Okay, so the first lesson is lesson number 10. You need to focus on this lesson here. So practice exercises for the short and the long vowel sounds. Same thing. I think lesson number 11, you want to focus. You want to study lesson 13, the CH and the SH consonant sounds. You also want to focus on lesson 15, particularly focus on what we call the glottal stop. You're having a little bit of trouble with that sound. Lesson 16, the major, measure, those two palatal consonants you need to focus on. Lesson 19, the P and the B. The problem is it's with the P sound. You're not creating enough air with that particular sound. So you need to work on that lesson, keeping that in mind. Lesson 20, the Z is the harder sound for you right now, so focus on that in lesson 20. Lesson 23, the T, I think you need to make sure you're pronouncing that with a little bit more aspiration. And you can also focus on lesson 24, the TH, the interdental voiced and the voiceless sounds there. So I think those are going to be really important for you right now. Okay, now the other thing is you also answer the questions, your personal experience questions, so I can also kind of figure out what your intelligibility is right now. So if I'm looking at my intelligibility scale, and in this case we have 1 would be high beginner of American English, and then 7 would be native speaker, I'm going to put you in the 4 area here. So you do have obvious accent pronunciation variations, but I can understand what you're saying. You have pretty good control of your grammatical structures when you speak, and you use sustained and connected discourse with varied vocabulary. So right now, I'm going to put you at about 4.3 out of 7 on the intelligibility test. So those are my comments on that. Now the question is, what can you do right now to make a difference with your pronunciation? So I'm going to spend maybe a couple minutes on that. So as you're going through my course, I want you to read out loud those accent reduction videos. And remember, as one of my students, you can send me 60 seconds of speaking or 60 seconds of pronunciation practice pretty much every day that you are subscribed, to my service. So I think that's going to be important, and I'll give you feedback as you do your practice exercises. So it might be a good idea for you, maybe one day you can do some speaking practice by completing a speaking practice test. You can use, TPO, TOEFL Practice Online, for that. Maybe the next day you can take a specific lesson, pronunciation lesson from my course. You can record yourself doing 60 seconds of practice there and then email that to me for feedback also, and I will do that. Now, in addition, make sure you have a concentrated effort, RD. You're getting a lot of input right now. That means a lot of listening, a lot of reading that will help you with your language use. Obviously, your listening, but also your pronunciation. So, when you do listening, focus on news, history, documentary, and also science programs. Those things are going to be very, very important for you right now. And then, if you can do this, this would be very helpful. If you can find a native speaker, you might know somebody from church. It could be someone who's younger, somebody who's got some free time. It might be an elderly person who has some free time. If you can sit down with this person each day, maybe practice reading about 500 to 1,000 words out loud. You read with the person, paragraph by paragraph, and then they offer you error correction. You're living in the United States, right? So you might have this opportunity. So see if you can have somebody help you with what we call error correction with your speaking and pronunciation. You can do that also. Alrighty, and thank you for doing the pronunciation pretest. So now you know your intelligibility score right now based on what I just said, and you also know specific lessons that you can focus on to improve your pronunciation.